Good afternoon. I'm Tom Beal, Acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Kansas. With me here today are representatives from the FBI and some of the many state and local agencies that contributed to this investigation. We're here today to announce that 3 Southwest Kansas men, Curtis Allen, Patrick Stein, and Gavin Wright, were charged in federal court here today on domestic terrorism charges. The government alleges the defendants conspired to detonate a bomb at an apartment complex in Garden City, Kansas, where Muslim immigrants from Somalia live and worship. The apartment is located at 312 West May. These charges are based on 8 months of investigation by the FBI that is alleged to have taken the investigators deep into a hidden culture of hatred and violence. Many Kansans may find it as startling as I have that such things could happen here. It's alleged the defendants conducted surveillance to size up potential targets. They stockpiled firearms, ammunition, and explosive components. They even prepared a manifesto describing their beliefs to be published after the bombing. One of them said the bombing would, quote, wake people up. What the defendants did not realize is at the beginning of February 2016, the FBI launched an investigation into their activities. The defendants were members of a small group they called the Crusaders. They formed a plan for violent attack. They considered a variety of possible targets, including churches and public officials who'd expressed support for Somalis, as well as landlords who rented to Somalis. They finally settled on an apartment complex in Garden City where a number of Somalis lived and maintained an apartment that served as a mosque. The defendants discussed obtaining 4 vehicles, filling them with explosives, and parking them at the 4 corners of the apartment complex to create a large explosion. On Wednesday, October 12th, defendant Stein met with the confidential FBI source in rural Finney County. The source showed Stein automatic weapons brought from the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia. After trying out 2 of the weapons, defendant Stein took the source to the apartment complex in Garden City that the defendants were targeting. Defendant Stein also talked with the source about defendant Allen's arrest in a domestic violence case in Liberal the previous day, October 11th. Stein said he was concerned that Allen's girlfriend would give Liberal police information about the defendants' plans. The defendants were arrested this morning in the Liberal area. These are very serious allegations, and the defendants are innocent until proven guilty, but if convicted, they could face life in federal prison. I want to thank the FBI for their hard work in this case. I also want to express our appreciation for the following agencies that assisted in this case: the Liberal Police Department, the Seward County Sheriff's Office, Ford County Sheriff's Office, the Garden City Police Department, the Finney County Sheriff's Office, Dodge City Police Department, the Kansas Highway Patrol, and the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. Right now, I want to introduce Eric Jackson, the FBI Special Agent in charge for the Kansas City area, including the District of Kansas, to say a few words.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to echo the statement of Acting United States Attorney Tom Bill's comments and express the FBI's deepest gratitude to our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners for their unwavering and continued support to the FBI. Additionally, I would like to thank the employees of the Kansas City Field Office, as well as our national assets that deployed to work tirelessly on this significant domestic terrorism investigation. The FBI enjoys an amazing working relationship with our law enforcement partners. This relationship is vitally important during this time where law enforcement and the community need each other. This investigation is a great example of law enforcement protecting the community it has sworn to serve and protect. Today's law enforcement action culminated with the arrest of 3 individuals who pose a significant and credible threat to our community and were planning to take imminent actions. These individuals had desire, the means, and the capabilities, and were committed to carrying out this act of domestic terrorism. Last February, I stood with the former United States Attorney and announced the arrest of John Booker on terrorism-related charges. I reiterated to you today the commitment we made then to protect every member of our community from threats, both foreign and domestic, and that still stands true. We must remain vigilant, and this event is a reminder to the community to do just that, to remain vigilant. We will continue to persevere, keep the heartland and the nation safe. Again, thank you to our law enforcement partners for their tireless efforts and to our community that we serve. Thank you.
There's not a lot we can say outside of what we've already said, but we can take a couple of questions. I would also point out that Jim Cross over here has copies of the complaint and affidavits for you. I would refer you to the complaint. It's pretty well laid out. Did you have anything you want to say about that? Again, I would also say that the motives and some of the language used is pretty well covered in the complaint. The attack was supposed to be carried out on the day after Election Day, correct? There were approximately 120 residents of that building. That's not a precise number, but that's ballpark. There is a sizable Somali population. I'll let you want to speak to that.
Yes, there is a sizable Somali population working in the Tyson plant and in the community. So this would have had a significant impact on that community. Two for Liberal and one from Dodge City. The FBI, one of the things that we have reiterated on a constant basis is that the community stays vigilant. And we received numerous information from community related to matters all the time. So specifically saying how we receive the information, I would withhold from that. But the fact is that we did receive the information and we were able to stop this plot before it was completely undertaken. It has militia and sovereign citizen ties, and I think that's probably the best way to describe this at the moment. No, we feel as though the individuals involved in this plot have been stopped and that this plot has been stopped.
This is an isolated group called the Crusaders, and we don't have information about any other threats in the community right now. Is that accurate? Yeah.
There are portions of this investigation that are still being undertaken right now, and getting into specifics about the group and any links to other groups, I think this time is probably not somewhere we would like to go because the investigation continues. I think the reason that they were waiting till after the election is not to have an effect on the election. We don't know which way they were concerned, but not to have an effect on the election. Liberal PD conducted an arrest for domestic violence by Allen. You can refer to information that Liberal PD has already discussed about their arrest of Allen. Because this investigation continues and we're moving forward with it, at this time, all of the evidence is still being collected, and at this moment, we are not in a position to discuss all that evidence. Within the document that you have, there is a list of evidence that we believe clearly states what this plot was about.
I think, in referring to what SAC Jackson said, I think it's extremely important because it reflects both the community reporting in and then law enforcement doing what law enforcement does and doing it well, frankly. And one of the things that I observe continuously, and this is just another good example of it, is that in the District of Kansas, I see law enforcement all the time cooperating completely toward the end of public safety. And there just really isn't turf and the fighting that you might think occurs just doesn't. And I think this is a good example of the kind of cooperation we get right here at state, federal, local law enforcement protecting the public.
From an FBI standpoint, this is our mission. This is our mission to conduct thorough, timely investigations. And with the terrorism-related charges that you will see from the documents that you receive, you will see that a thorough investigation was conducted and that this plot was something that was imminent. And these individuals, as we stated in our comments, they were committed to carrying this out. And it would have had a significant impact on not only the state of Kansas, this community, but also this nation, because this would have been picked up not only nationally but internationally. So stopping this plot before it was able to be carried out, again, just underscores the importance of what law enforcement does every single day. We do it because it's the right thing to do. We work together because we understand the mission. And hopefully when you read the documents, you will see that if law enforcement did not do or make the efforts it made, this could have been a totally different press conference.
I don't think I could add anything to what I said earlier on that subject. Approximately 120 people lived in the building, but you also have risk to first responders and others who'd be in proximity. It's kind of hard to estimate that. I think it does, and I think it also reinforces see something, say something.
What I mean, as we see from news conferences after a terrorist incident within the United States, not only are our communities within the United States made aware of that, but also our international partners. They're aware of what happens in the United States. And from a domestic terrorism incident, this would garner attention all over the world. That's why stopping this plot before it occurred is significant. And as Acting U.S. Attorney Bill said, what we are doing here has impact. And it's important that the community knows that law enforcement is here to serve them. We have sworn to serve and protect law enforcement against both domestic and foreign threats. And in this instance, this was a domestic threat that we protected the community from. Thank you.